Countdown to Halloween, featuring Gregory Miller's Dark Nights and Candlelight, 31 Tiny October Tales. Every night at exactly midnight, a new story will appear on StoryLink Radio's YouTube channel. You'll have 24 hours to listen, then it will disappear and the next one will appear. Plan to catch these each day or you'll miss one. Each story will be 2 to 13 minutes long. If you haven't already, be sure to listen to the introduction to the book right here on this channel. And now, tonight's story from Dark Nights and Candlelight, 31 Tiny October Tales. October 17th, The Switch. Here we are, said Stanley Loomis. Look at that, isn't it great? Jean Loomis nodded. It's perfect. They approached the little train station hand in hand, Stanley's excitement tinged with relief. This had been his idea, and it looked like it was going to be a winner. The night was crisp, leaves fell like rain, the sky was active, blustery, and lightly spotted with fast-moving clouds that passed across the moon and roiled beneath the cold stars. And behind the station, the train. A restored 1953 RDC, a Bud Rail diesel car. All polished chrome, shot-welded steel, hissing pipes, 4 cars and a caboose, paper skeletons and rubber bats hanging inside, each car lit with different colored bulbs. Jean put her arm around Stanley. A Halloween party on a vintage train, 10 miles out in the country and back. Honestly, this couldn't get any better. And did you see the restaurants on Main Street when we drove past? We'll have to choose one for dinner after. Maybe with dim lights and a cheery fire in the fireplace. The door to the train station creaked as they entered. An elderly attendant gave them their orange and black tickets with a flourish. Just you two tonight? No children? Nope, just us, Stanley said. The attendant paused a moment, seemed about to say something, then nodded. Well, enjoy. Children? Jean said once they were back outside. Didn't you say this was for everyone? Well, that's what I thought, Stanley said. The website didn't say it wasn't. But his assumption was quickly proven wrong. By the time the conductor came out and started collecting tickets, they were surrounded by children. And save for a few parents chaperoning the littlest, no other adults at all. I thought they'd have wine and food, Stanley said, sighing. I thought... It's okay, hon, Jean said. We can still get in the spirit. It'll be fun. A vintage train, a cold October night. I guess, he muttered, and they boarded. They sat down on green velvet. Children piled in around them, shrieking and laughing, ghosts and pirates and devils and mummies and SpongeBobs and Pokemons and Minecraft characters. Luke Skywalkers and Kylo Rens and Iron Mans and Wonder Womans and Frozen princesses. Inside, the decorations seemed garish and juvenile, the lights more abrasive than atmospheric. This doesn't look good, said Stanley. This doesn't look good at all. A small bat bent over, heard him, and frowned. Shh, they'll hear, said Jean. I agree, but talk softer, Stanley. Brake valves hissed, the car jolted, the train began to move. Attendants dressed as scarecrows and clowns and ballerinas began moving up and down the aisles, distributing candy and cider. The Monster Mash began to play. Children shrieked and laughed. None of the attendants offered them any candy or cider. They all seemed to look through Stanley and Jean as if they weren't even there. Did you notice that? Jean asked as the clown with the cider disappeared into another car. I mean, he at least could have asked. Yes, we did pay, after all, said Stanley. He caught 2 other children looking at him sternly, but chose to ignore them. Just awful, he added. Shh, said Jean. The train moved steadily into the inky night, past old mills and factories, and then out into the greater darkness of trees and fields and steep embankments of rock. On and on it went, and Stanley just wanted it all to be over, for them to reach the end of the line and then reverse course, head back to civilization, allow them to get off the train and on with what was left of their evening. This wasn't Halloween for them. It was... The lamest thing I've done all year. Just pathetic. It took a long and somewhat confused moment for Stanley to realize what he had just done. The train, as it so happened, had stopped at just that moment. They had reached the end of the line. And what Stanley had meant as a quiet aside to Jean over the chaos of the children and the loud, steady shuddering of the squealing of the brakes had come out as a bellow in the suddenly quiet car. Mortified, Jean elbowed him hard in the side. "Hey, come on, that's—" He stopped. The silence was heavy upon them. They both looked up. In front of them, behind, all around, 20 slack-faced children stared at them, completely expressionless and utterly still. "He didn't mean it," Jean said quickly. "Sorry, everyone. Geez, Stanley, tell the kids you're sorry. You've upset them." I'm sorry," he said softly. She's right. I didn't mean..." And then, like marionettes all controlled by the same puppeteer, all 20 children in the car stood up, none of them saying a word, none of them taking their eyes off Stanley and Jean. "What?" Jean muttered. "Jean, what are they doing?" Stanley asked softly. Together, in perfect tandem, all the children moved 2 inches toward them. "Where are the attendants?" demanded Jean. "Where are the parents?" "There were never any parents in our car," Stanley whispered, "only in some of the others." Every child in the car moved toward them another few inches. Stanley and Jean stood quickly and moved into the aisle. "Say something," said Jean. "We're the adults here." "Now listen, here, children," Stanley said sternly, but took a step back, pulling Jean with him. "Enough of this game. You hear me? You just listen to me." But the stairs were like a wall of iron moving inexorably forward, forcing them, suddenly terrified, backward down the aisle, past the cheery-colored lights, past the crafted decorations, past the last row of seats, and down the steps to the exit door that had somehow, at some point, opened in well-oiled silence to usher them out into the cold, indifferent darkness. "Stanley," Jean said urgently, clutching at his arm. "Stanley!" The door to the train closed. The engine hissed and turned over. The whistle blew, the most mournful, soul-aching sound either of them had ever heard. Inside, the monster mash started playing again. The children started talking and laughing again. The attendant, dressed as a scarecrow, returned and started doling out drinks again. "More hot apple cider," Jean said softly. "Bet you anything." "Hey!" Stanley screamed at the attendant. "Mister! Hey, mister! They forced us off! We're out here! Mister! Don't leave us behind!" Brake valves hissed, pistons churned, and the smell of diesel flared in their nostrils. The smiling attendant, holding a cup out to a Pikachu-costumed child, turned, looked directly at Stanley and Jean, and his mouth went slack, eyes vacant, before turning back to the child and handing him the drink with a wink and a grin. The banshee foghorn blast of the whistle shivered their spines again. The train began to move. "Stanley!" Jean clasped his arm wildly, with desperate strength. "They can't." "They are," whispered Stanley. They stood in the dark clearing by the 2 blinking lights that marked the end of the line. The rustle of dead leaves, tormented by bitter winds, surrounded them. Shadows of rock and tree cast pools of deeper darkness that hemmed them in. And for the first time in 20 years, both of them wondered what was out there in the engulfing night. As the train, with all its warmth, innocence, joy, and celebration, became a wink in the distance, and then nothing at all. Stanley's jaw worked up and down. Jean's icy hand found his clammy one. He clasped it tightly. "We'd better start walking," she said. Their hesitant, faltering steps echoed in the cold blackness, and even though they could follow the track, the way now seemed uncertain, the night dangerous, their destination unknown. You've just heard tonight's story from Dark Nights and Candlelight, 31 Tiny October Tales from author Gregory Miller. You can get this book right now on Amazon at the on-screen link, and Kindle Unlimited users can borrow a copy of the book for free. You can learn more about Gregory Miller and his many amazing books and projects at his website, On Screen. If you have not already, be sure to listen to our event video here and visit our event website to learn all about our upcoming events. Remember to come back after midnight for our next tale. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for StoryLink Radio.